subject, and it's back. It's the devil, popular again, kids. All right.
Satan.
Yeah, Satan, always good for album covers. If you're Striper, you can, make an album called "The Hell with the Devil," right?
Yeah.
But just a popular subject, particularly in those '70s films. We always had a good time with them. But I just remember at the time watching it and saying, Jesus Christ, everyone is in this movie. Like, there's just not, like, every time I turned around, I'm like, I know that actor, and many of them, these are definitely earlier roles. So it was pretty wild just to see. It's funny because obviously this wasn't an intended effect. It was just people making a movie, right?
Yeah.
But who knew, right? These are all actors. I'm sure they're all living in the New York area. They're all looking for work, and they take this movie on this shitty little '70s the '70s horror film, and then all of a sudden, like, a good deal of them. Now, E.Y. Wallach was established. There were a couple on there who were established. I don't quite know how they got him to do that, because he had definitely done the good, bad, and the ugly by then. And always remember, kids, if you're gonna shoot. If you're gonna talk. Just don't mess that up.
Yeah.
Especially when you catch a guy in the bathtub who's still bathing with his pistol.
Because that would totally still fire.
Yeah, I don't know. 50-50. Don't like my odds. Let me put it to you that way.
I'm leaving that alone.
Don't like my odds. So yes, there is my little romp down the past into those movies of one that, I could kind of get if you haven't seen this one. Sometimes I chastise people for not seeing these movies.
I remember
these really yes, and there's no surprise. There's a reason why we're on the committee we're on. There's a reason why we're running things behind the scenes. But this one I won't chastise you for seeing. But if you got a minute, check it out. If it's still on Netflix, I have no idea. But it's just funny because now I've kind of given away the best part of it. Is spoiler alert: everybody's in this fucking movie.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Because you were in it just for everybody that's in it.
Right. And so many of them, like when it comes to like first role, a couple of them, I'm pretty sure it was their first role. Like I think Tom Berenger, I'd be hard pressed to find something else that he was in before that. And he's in it for 2 minutes at the end. So let me be clear. But some of those other people are in there for a little bit longer. And
that's all right. I appreciate you throwing in that Obamaism.
Obama.
Let me be clear.
Make no mistake. I always thought that was the key to it.
One of you is really good at that impersonation. I'm not gonna
say who. We're gonna leave that out there.
I'm not gonna spoil it for our listeners, but one of you is coming a lot closer to it than the other.
Gee, wonder how that came. But I did remember "Make No Mistake." That's all I'm saying.
Quote the man. You do that.
I did quote. I accurately quoted. That was a speech tick word. Maybe I don't even know what that is. But all right. So with that great endorsement, because we all know I won the Obama impression there. Killed it, nailed it. We all know how that is. Let's turn to the three of clubs here and hear about some of his favorite movies and the still starring roles that launched those amazing careers.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is, I think the more people would research this kind of subject, the more they will realize that a lot of their favorite actors have been around for a lot longer than they think. They've showed up in things that they weren't even sure they knew about. It's a very interesting thing. Like, for example, everyone loves to go to Morgan Freeman showing up on Electric Company. Or my favorite, and I'm not gonna lie, ABC After School Special. I'm not sure you guys kind of stuck the landing on this, because sure, you scared me away from some of the things you had after school specials on, but holy shit, you didn't warn us that you're gonna turn it up to 11 right away on after school specials with Ben Affleck losing his shit on the steroids episode and Calista Flockhart fucking stacking up closets of puke in jars. Holy shit! Like, there's not a warrant. I had, by that time, I know I go off on tangents and rants, but hey, I'm 3 o'clock, fucking up decks left and right. By that time, I was 13, 14, after school specials, 15, because it was like 95 that they're running this. ABC had this whole series. And at that time, at 15, I had seen just about everything that media could put out. Like I had no restrictions. I had realistic parents who would look at me like that shit's not real. So yeah, if you want to watch it, fucking go ahead and watch it. You have other things to worry about. We're black people raising two black boys in goddamn middle of America, middle of suburbs. So yeah, we have other things to worry about. So if you want to watch some rated R movie with fucking tits, I got tits. My mom would be looking at me like, yeah, you know about tits. I mean, you're not surprised. Same thing. Like I remember going to fucking mandatory sex ed fucking meeting that my elementary school made all the parents and like sixth graders go to. It was super awkward as shit. I'm in the back with my dad laughing my ass off, and he's like, shit, I caught you in magazines that have already explained this like 7 years ago. You're way ahead of the curve. I'm like, yeah, can we get out here? He's like, no, we have to be here. I'm like, all right, well, fuck it. Let's go to friendlies after. So anyway, I had already been a decent amount by that point. But still, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, all right, this guy's a football player. Cool. All right, he's taking steroids. That's bad. I get that. I mean, it's fucking you up. And then he fucking just ramps it up. He just starts beating the shit out of his girlfriend. I'm like, whoa, where did that come from? Like, can I get a warning? Can I get something to let me know? And then I show up the next time. I learned my lesson. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. I'm going George Bush. You should have fucking done it. You should have fucking done it. But point is, you can't fool me again. But anyway, I show up for the next episode, and Calista Flockhart is just puking her fucking guts out into jars, stacking closets. And I'm like, oh my God, I am traumatized. I literally need to watch some rated R cartoonish violence to scrub my brain from what I actually know is real. Like, you show me something real, I'm scared. Arachnophobia scared the shit out of me. Fucking Freddy, who I'm going to get to in a second, after like 5, I'm kind of like, all right, man, like, you're a fucking clown. Mainly he's a clown because his rules are all over the fucking place. Like, you killing people in dreams, you killing them real life, you kind of care, you don't care. But that actually is a good segue into one of the first fucking movies where it's like, even looking back, I'm like, yeah, even then, I'm like, that's Johnny Depp. Is Nightmare on Elm Street. You're watching it, and it's like immediately, you're like, I kind of feel like I know that guy. Now, the funny thing is, I actually saw that movie when I was like 5, because I also have a brother who's older than me by 7 years. So if anyone has similar sibling situations, you know, you're watching whatever the fuck they want to watch. So I had already seen it. I'm watching the guy. I'm like, I don't know. The guy kind of feels familiar. And later on, he fucking shows up in 21 Jump Street. So it's like, I don't know. It kind of feels familiar. By the time he gets to being a fucking Keith Richards pirate for like 17,000 movies, you feel like you already known the guy forever. So that's one. Another movie that I saw when I was a little kid, and also because I was a prime example of what a latchkey is. Like, my babysitter was the remote control and $5 to spend at Christie's. So I had a lot of time to watch whatever the fuck I wanted to. And HBO back in the day did not have the stellar HBO Max that a lot of people have come to expect in today's day. A little slim. And one of the movies I had seen a few different times, to the point where I'm like, this fucking movie is Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Now, mind you, mind you, I'm sitting there like, why is everyone losing their shit some years later over some doctor on some bullshit TV show that had Goose from fucking Top Gun? I'm like, this shit's nothing more than St. Elmore's Fire meets fucking LA Law. Like, I'm not really impressed. Fuck these guys. Oh no, this doctor, he's got the hair. You take a look, and it's like, oh shit, that's the guy from Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. So George Clooney always comes to mind. By the way, George Clooney is by far one of the coolest fucking people out there. I don't ever want to meet him because I want the image of him always being the coolest fucking person in the world.
Absolutely.
I want that to stick.
Can I just give a shout out to George Clooney as like the 20-year overnight success story? Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Facts of Life, on and on and on. And then suddenly, like, nearing 50, he, became the absolute sex symbol, like you say, and like the coolest dude in the room that we all want to drink scotch with. So
hell yeah. Talk about that, but again, never want to meet him because I don't want to ruin the myth that's in my head about George Clooney. Also bringing up, which is funny, talking about 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon when it comes to Calista Flockhart, I also think about my man Lawrence Fishburne, who is one of the best actors of our generation, who gets literally not enough credit. Some of the stuff that he did in the 80s and 90s, people forget about King in New York. What's up? People just lose sight of how fucking great of an actor he is. They just see him and see Morpheus now, and it kind of pisses me off with how good he is. But it makes me always think of his second, but first starring role as an adult, second actual movie. The first one he was in when he was 14 was Apocalypse Now.
You betcha.
Which him being in it literally made part of the movie for me, because there are some moments that, yeah, it's a cinematic tour de force, and frankly, I did enjoy the movie. It's entertaining, but it does fucking drag a good amount. I mean, any movie is going to get close to goddamn 4 hours. It's going to drag. But anyway.
Have you seen the redo? Because trust me, I've seen the redo.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah,
redo.
It's still about a week less time than the new Justice League. But anyway. Yeah, that's like a good week endeavor. But anyway, so Lawrence Fishburne, I always think of Apocalypse Now, which also included Calista Flockhart Tubby, Harrison Ford, which is pretty funny because when he shows up, you want to talk about record scratch. My man's acting is so bad in the moment. Like, I love him. I little fun fact for the listeners. Part of my weird role models growing up is someone who I've always modeled my behavior after was Han Solo. Harrison Ford can almost do. The second person was Indiana Jones. So like,
yeah,
he can do no wrong to me. But yeah, when he shows up in that movie, it is literally like someone just put him in there. Which, funny story, that kind of is what happened. He was just kind of like, hey, you, be in the scene. So he did the best he could. Bill Paxton showing up randomly in Stripes, that always kind of gets me. A lot of people like to go to Jack, or now he goes Jack Earl Haley. He used to go Jackie Earl Haley, but a lot of people like to go to Bad News Bears. I don't know. I go either way with my man. I think he's a good actor, but people kind of take him to a whole new level.
Well, he's lasted so long, and he's such an, he's got that distinctive look that he's had since the Bad News Bears, and you can kind of see it, and he's still acting. And as to the best of my knowledge, didn't have any like major, spin out drug scandals as a child actor.
No, just looks it, which I find absolutely fascinating about him is that he looks like a man who's literally done more bouts with Skid Row than Robert Downey Jr. Fun fact. But also, we all want to skip over to the 90s, sort of what Iron Man and what Tony Stark was going through. He had some dark periods that made the remake of Batman look like goddamn trip to Disneyland. And then on top of that, I guess we can end with, there's so many different examples. I like to go to Fear for Marky Mark. It wasn't his first role, actually. Matter of fact, he had multiple roles before that. One, he didn't do too bad in one of what I feel was Leonardo DiCaprio's best movie, Basketball Diaries.
Yep.
One of the best acting I've seen across the board. Everyone showed up to act. Even Marky Mark showed up to do it. But Fear, to me, it's like it's campy, it's over the top, but it's cemented the fact that Marky Mark was here to stay. You're going to call him Mark Wahlberg from here on out, and fuck you. You're about to see him in a porn and a rock show. He's taking over from this point on. So I always find that hilarious. But like I said, there's so many different people you just kind of focus on it, and I think that's the most fascinating thing. You can even go with it was just in my head, and now it's gone, like everything else.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna end it there. All right, that's
Bang.
Okay.
Bang.
I'm just gonna put two notes. Lawrence Fishburne was Mr. Clean. That was his character name in Apocalypse Now. Mr. Clean. And the narration from Martin Sheen said, all the wide open spaces of Vietnam must have scrambled his mind. He was from Detroit. I always love it. It's a great thing there. Yep.
It just came back to me. Again, I probably should research this. It's not that hard, people. It's literally an app on your phone. Try it. But that being said, Keanu Reeves and River's Edge. I'm not exactly sure if that's his first. I feel like that's the first time I saw him. That movie is fucking excellent. People need to watch that shit. It's a fucked up movie. It makes
fucked up movie.
It's like the cinematic version of Kids with murder, but
but better.
Slightly less sex and just gratuitous. It's not just gratuitous. Like everything sort of has there's
slightly less Well, there's more sex with dead people. Let's just go ahead and say
Okay,
that.
I mean, maybe, no, and there's Crispin Glover.
I'm in.
That, no,